Everyone thinks you need 20 Note 3 in DaVinci Resolve to get Stranger Things look. They think you need expensive LUTs that break your image the moment you push them too far. They are wrong. Today, we are replicating the Stranger Things 5 finale look using the PFA Color Suite. But here is the kicks. We are not doing this in DaVinci Resolve. We have finally broken the walls. This is Premiere Pro, this is After Effects, and this is the same grade running on the same engine with 0 LUTs and 0 bending. 5 steps, 1 engine, and I will prove it works across all the 3 platforms by the end of this video. We are starting in After Effects, but everything I show you works identical in Premiere and Resolve. The first step is color isolation. And think about this. This is where most people screw up. They reach for the qualifier or HSL keys that create noise and artifacts around it. Inside the PFA Color Suite, we use Color Slider, which is fundamentally different. Traditional qualifiers are masking pixels. They are saying select these red pixels and ignore everything else. That creates boundaries, and boundaries creates problems. The color slider uses math level pixel interpolation. We are telling the software how to understand the red vector itself across the entire image. Look at this trailer shot. I want to shift the reds without creating a single mask. I will expand the range selection on red, and now I can adjust the hue instantly. Watch the vector scope as I push this. No noise, no edges, just pure mathematical transformation. The software is reinterpolating what red means in this frame. So now let's go to the greens. I want them to be cooler, more towards the teal side. I will expand the green selection and push the hue towards cyan. See how the vector scope distribution shifts? We are already creating a very nuanced color foundation without touching a single curve or drawing a single mask, and it can play back at 4K timeline instantly. So this is the power of range expansion. You are not keying, you are not qualifying, you are defining which pixels to be targeted mathematically based on their position in color space. If I use a traditional qualifier here, you will see chatter and flickering on the edges. With color slider, the transformation is smooth and continuous because we are working at the interpolation level. Step 2 is where the film look actually lives, and it's called movie density. I need to call out the biggest mistake in the digital color grading. Stop using the saturation sliders. Digital saturation is broken. When you increase saturation in Premiere and Resolve using standard tools, watch what happens to the waveform. The pixels shift up. The image gets brighter as you add color, and that's physically wrong. Real film dye is subtractive. When film gets more saturated, it gets darker because the dye is blocking more light. Cyan dye blocks red light. Magenta dye blocks green light. Yellow dye blocks blue light. More dye equals less light transmission, which means more color equals darker image. That's how you get that thick Netflix look. Watch this side by side. On the left, I'm using standard saturation. The waveform climbs as I add color. On the right, I'm using the global density in PFA Color Suite. As I increase density, the waveform drops. It's saturating the image by darkening it. This is simulating how film dye actually behaves in the chemical process. You can see the difference. The standard saturation looks digital and plastic. The movie density version looks rich and photogenic. You also have channel level density adjustment for fine control, just like color slider. If I want to add more density to the red, specifically without touching the cyans, I can isolate that. This is the foundation of the Stranger Things aesthetic. Heavy, subtractive color that feels like it was printed on the celluloid. Step 3 is skin. If your skin tones are off, the whole grade is a lie. We have the advanced skin tone map built into PFA Color Suite that does something no other plugin can do. It automatically aligns the skin to the vector scope target line without creating mask or qualifier. Watch what happens when I toggle the skin tone map. You see the whole entire frame divided in 3 different zones: orange, yellow, and blue. When your skin is pushed to the orange, that means the skin is perfectly aligned with the skin tone line on the vector scope. I can adjust the hue and range until the skin hits that target. Now I know it's mathematically correct. From here, I can adjust the density slider to make the subject pop against the moody cyan. So the density slider is moving the skin along the skin tone line. So I am brightening or softening the skin while maintaining perfect color accuracy. So now we move into step 4. which is the look development. This is where we use the film color mixer and printer lights to define the actual aesthetic of the grade. The color mixer is an RGB mixer that normalizes different channels to create color relationships. If you have ever tried to build it on an RGB mixer manually, you know how complex it is. You have to balance the math out to make sure every channel adds up to be one. So you don't blow out channels or destroy the skin tones you previously built. But watch the vector scope as I increase the teal and orange separation in the color mixer. See how it's refining the entire vector scope into a very defined complementary line. That is look development. You are creating something that nudges eventually into a complementary color palette. And it can be red and cyan, it can be teal and orange, depending on what you have in the scene. I prefer the two-strip effect, which forms a very linear separation between red and cyan that aligns our look even better with the Stranger Things palette. Now, we can go to printer lights. And this is where PFA Suite really stands out and completely revolutionized the concept. In DaVinci Resolve, printer lights are global adjustments. You add cyan, it hits everything on your frame. You add yellow, the whole image shifts. That's how traditional film timing works in the labs. But we have built shadow protection and skin protection directly into the algorithm. Watch what happens when I add cyan and blue to the printer lights. The mid-tone and highlights shifts to the cold, but look at the shadow. They stay deep black. Look at the skin. It resists the shift and stays healthy. I will show you the protection mask. See, our skin match mask is being compensated in this frame to protect our skin. You can see we are only applying the printer lights to the shift and the background. The skin and the deep shadows are mathematically protected. This means we can break that balance of the scene without destroying the image we have built earlier. I can make it cynical by adding green and vintage with green and yellow, and I can make it cold and dystopian with cyan and blue or even a bit of magenta. The image stays grounded because the critical zones are protected. Finally, step 5 is the film tonal curve. This is the high dynamic range secret that creates that washout cinematic look. What really makes film feel like film is the tonal adjustments. Digital camera has a very linear response. Film have a very distinct soft roll-off in both the shadows and highlights. I'm going to increase the black point and increase the shadow roll-off. Watch what happens. Instantly, you get that milky gray in the shadows, and that screams cinematic. We are just reshaping how the light behaves in the image. You can also use film split tone to introduce layered shadow colors. The tonal curve and the split tone communicate across the panels. So if I adjust the shadow range in film tonal curve, it affects how the split toning applies. I can rotate the hue and introduce very different layers of colors into the shadows. This creates depth and complexity without mudding the image. Now, here is the part that is going to blow your mind. I'm going to save this as ST5 as a preset in After Effects. Now I'm switching to Premiere Pro. If I load the PFA Color Suite, call up the preset ST5, and boom, it's exactly the same. Same vector scope, same waveform, same look. But wait, let's go to DaVinci Resolve. Open our project, load the same preset. It's exact same look. We just broke the wall between softwares. You can develop a look on your laptop in Premiere Pro and send the preset to another person in DaVinci, and the math stays the same. No LUTs, no shifting, no why does this look so different? Watch this. I'm applying the preset to a third trailer shot, then to my own personal footage. Completely different lighting, completely different set design. It works across all of them because the engine is 32-bit float math. It interpolates and interprets the pixels mathematically, not baking in any transformations like LUTs. You won't be limited by boundaries. Step 6. There's one last thing most people don't know about inside the PFA Color Suite. There's an AI system called CinePulse AI. It's not like a cloud-based gimmicks you have seen. This is a locally hosted learning artificial intelligence that runs entirely on your machine. Zero cloud dependency. Here is how it works. The AI observes how you grade. Every time it suggests a look, you adjust it. Maybe you add more contrast or push the warmth. It records the difference between its suggestion and your final result. Over time, it builds a biased profile of your aesthetic preferences, contrast bias, warmth bias, shadow bias, printer lights bias. After 30 days of use, after 1,000 adjustments, the AI knows exactly how you would grade a shot. It can predict your preferred starting point with scary accuracy. So day 1, it gives you a generic best practice suggestions. Day 30 is cloning your creative decisions. It removes the repetitive grunt work of balancing shots so you can focus purely on the creative expression. The system uses a confidence score that increases as it learns. The more you use it, the better it is and getting to becoming as you. This is stored in an encrypted local profile on your machine. No data uploads, no server processing, no privacy concerns. It's all your personal virtual colorist that evolves with your work. This is the power system we have built here. And look at this shot. We can just create, generate look. Instantly, I get a totally different vibe that's walkable, cinematic. It grades exactly like me. I built this because I was tired of 20 note trees in my past commercial works. The PFA Color Suite has close to 800 users now. The price has gone from $69 with a few features at the beginning to $99 and $199 as we add more features. You have witnessed the growth and we deliver our promise. This $199 lifetime deal is ending very soon. Then it goes up to $299. But here is what makes this different. I hate that one software, one pricing model when I purchased plugin last time. As a founder and developer, I refuse to implement that garbage on my tool. Our license system is hardware-based. You activate it on one device and all future integrations are free. Right now, you get DaVinci. Next week, we will release the stable Premiere and After Effects versions on Mac and Windows, then Final Cut, then Nuke, then Vegas Pro. One license fee unlocks everything forever on your machines. So stop investing in LUT-based tools that restrict you. Links in the description. Try the free trial version of this tool that allow you to access all the features for free. I'm Nash, Passion Fuels Ambition. I will see you in the next one.